My parents are pastors, and I was 9 years old when my dad decided to become an evangelist. So he took off on the road, and my dad's a musician and he's a singer, been the leader of a lot of different bands. Well, anyway, because I was the youngest child and I was the only one still at home, my parents decided for me that I would go on the road with them. My parents always knew I could sing from the time I was a baby. I guess I could sing before I could talk. But the thing that was interesting was when my dad started traveling, suddenly that's kind of was the entree of making music really a part of my life and making it my life. I had sort of a normal childhood up until 9 years old. After 4th grade, I started homeschooling because we were traveling. So I think I was on the honor roll one time. I don't know that I was I don't know that I was really great at school, but I knew that I enjoyed. I liked my teachers. I thought they were really cool, but it wasn't I just wasn't very smart. But my mother says opposite. She goes, "Nihita, you are so bright. You just need to apply yourself." And I think, anyway, so I started homeschooling at 5th grade, and became a freshman in high school. And when I hit 9th grade, basically I was traveling so much on the road because I'd gotten my record deal already and had a lot of stuff going on. I really didn't get to finish school. So not many people know that, but I did get my GED, so I feel good about that. When I started traveling heavily, I'm talking like, 250 days out of the year. That was 16 years old, and I remember getting on a plane at, having to be up for a flight at 4 a.m., getting to the airport for a 5:15 departure, 5:30 departure, and I would be on my way from a show that I had just done the night before to another, from Nebraska going to New York. And I remember those moments of just falling asleep while doing homework, doing my schoolwork on the plane, because this was going to be the longest amount of time that I would have to sit down and focus. But you have to remember, that was for something, waking up at 4 in the morning and being up the night before doing a concert till, finishing up with the promoters at midnight. 4 hours of sleep at 16 years old, it's just a lot. So I really, I had to be really careful with my time. And my mom actually was cool enough to give me a little bit of freedom and time. I knew I only had this much time on the plane. I knew that we were flying, let's say, from Omaha, Nebraska to New York, LaGuardia. That was going to be a 3 hour, 2.5 hour flight. That was going to be the most time I had available once I arrived into LaGuardia, because then you get picked up by a promoter, by a runner, and then you get taken to the venue. And I was still doing tracks at the time, so it was just my mom and I. So sound tracks, then I would have to do sound check when we landed at the, in New York, and then after getting to do sound check, I'd go to the hotel real quick, get ready, and go back to the venue. So, I knew that was the only time I had. So finally, my mom took a little pity on me and said, "Let's put the books away for a little bit," because I was traveling every day. Every day. And she allowed me to put the books away for a little while, and it kind of became my life. It really wasn't about anything else anymore after that. And that's kind of not the normal way of doing things. Most parents probably would not make you put their books away, but my mom just, I think, felt sorry for me, because it was like strike while the iron's hot, especially when you're making music. And at that point, it was hot, and it was like go, 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 the show after show. And so I went. Being raised that way, traveling and being homeschooled, and not having friends really, you create this kind of alter ego in a way. You become like the people that you're around at a venue or a show or a concert. They become your friends, but there's always this thing that you're going to have to say goodbye to them, and you'll have to find new friends. And from 9 years old to today, I've never sat still and never had gone from school to school, you know, had that stability. I always said that the most consistent thing about my life is the inconsistency. So I traveled all the time, but I wouldn't trade the fact that I got to do what I did at such a young age. I'm 33 years old now, almost 34. Well, I'm 34. And that's however many years, almost, well, a lot of years, basically. Being able to do, this is what I always say. Had I been able to end up where I am now, that means to have met my husband, to have had my kids, to be where we are in life. If I could have started my career later and experienced all the things I got to experience, but still end up where I am right now, then I totally would have done that. But if it took me going through as much as I went through as a kid to get here, then I wouldn't trade the world.